This is your place for all things Grand Rapids Griffins and all things Toledo Walleye. This is the Hockeytown West podcast with your host, Brandon Cook, Nick Harrington, and Travis Foch.
So we're back in action. I know we've been gone a while. We owe some explanations, but we're back. We're back in our off-season mode. We do owe you longtime listeners who wait for these episodes an explanation, though, because it's been a minute. So we'll dive into that. Before we do, though, welcome back to the Hockeytown West podcast, your source for everything Grand Rapids Griffins and Toledo Walleye hockey. I am one of your hosts, Brandon.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Travis.
And like I said, we owe you an explanation. So yes, we've been gone since basically the Toledo off-season recap episode with Mark Monroe, I believe, is the last one, or the full season recap we did with him, and we haven't done anything off season. The drafts happened, free agencies happened, signings happened. We appear on the outside like we haven't done much. We have done some interviews already that we are sitting on the Toledo side that'll be coming soon, so stay tuned for those. But in reality is life gets in the way sometimes when the podcasts don't pay the bills, right? Nick got a new job. I got a new job. Life went into chaos there during that time. Travis has kind of just been chilling here going, where are you guys at? I miss you. My new job involves travel the first week. You guys did do a radio spot while I was traveling, so appreciate you guys stepping in to do that.
Brandon got hurt.
And I went to a festival this weekend and hurt myself. Yep, that's a story for the Patreon folks. They got that one. And yeah, we're back, though. We promise we're back to doing our regularly scheduled recordings here, off-season content coming your way, getting things lined up. Now that things are settled and we kind of know what our day-to-days are going to look like, because our day-to-days did not look like anything there for a hot minute. They were chaos.
Yeah, I thought you were just trying to catch up on Love Island, Brandon, to be honest. Like you were...
Never watched an episode in my life. I see the memes and I'm like, I don't know what any of this shit means, but they're funny. They're funny. Nothing's funnier than the Coldplay memes right now. So,
oh God,
man. Yeah.
Which was referenced at that music festival this weekend too, and it was very funny. But
well, the funniest thing out of that is like Coldplay hasn't put out a good single in like 12 years, and they put out two in the same night.
Oh, I love it.
Absolutely love it. 5 ones I saw.
Yeah, I think the joke last night was like, you're safe here, but if you end up on camera, don't duck. Don't be stupid.
Start performing the Heimlich is what I saw.
Oh, anyways, let's dive into this episode. If you're tuning into this one, it is going to be just kind of an off-season update. We have a lot to talk about. Like we said, the drafts happened, free agencies happened, the Griffins have released their schedule. This is going to be a more focused on the Griffins side of things episode. Toledo will update you on all the off-season signings when we drop those interviews later this week for you guys. We'll have that update included in that episode too. For now, let's talk some Griffins. Or do we talk Red Wings first? Should we talk the draft? Should we give our opinions on the draft first? Let's start there.
It's a good place to start. I think that happened first.
I think so. A lot of things have happened since then, but I know a lot of people have shared their opinions, our thoughts, but we'll share ours too. We won't waste too much time on it, though. So the first overall pick, Carter Bear. Thoughts?
Watching it live, I was definitely not the guy that I was hoping for. I was hoping for Victor Eklund since he was still there. So I was like, all right, Swedish guy, he's coming home. You know, Detroit's been the second, sister city to Sweden. So I was kind of assuming that's the route we were going to go, just like last year. Thought Cole Yzerman was going to be here. And we went off. We didn't go with that pick either. So picking Carter Bear, personally, I was nervous about it just based off of the Achilles injury. So I was not super on board with that pick. But if, Hakan Anderson said, hey, not this guy, this isn't our guy, let's go with Carter Bear. We're going with Carter Bear. So excited to see, after we were given a few minutes to chew, or a few days, maybe a couple weeks to chew on it. Definitely coming around on it. Definitely excited to see him here. It looks like probably towards the end of the season. He's going to go back to juniors and then pop over here to Grand Rapids at the end of the season. So excited to see what he brings. From what I hear, he's a huge two-way player, tough to play against. Somebody like Marco Gasper, but play on the wing.
Yeah, I mean, if Anderson says don't pick a guy out of Sweden, you don't pick that guy. If there's anyone you're going to trust in that guidance there, it's going to be him. Not like he steered us wrong with any past picks out of Sweden, right? So it makes sense. I think I was pretty excited about it, even on the spot when it happened. I know everyone wanted to go the other way, but I like what this kid brings, and I like that he's got some grit to his game too, from what I've seen in highlight packages and everything. So if he can size up, and it looks like he's already, got some size to him. I'm happy with the pick. I hope we do get to see him potentially at the end of the season in Grand Rapids. That would be a really nice boost. We always like seeing those first round picks, I should say, come through Grand Rapids before they make it to Detroit and spend some time here, especially at the end of the season when you go into playoffs. Getting a guy like him might be a nice piece to add, and it'll be a fun piece to pay attention to in juniors this year. It's always nice to have someone that we can kind of watch in the CHL and kind of keep an eye on that, because it's kind of the only hockey we can watch without having to analyze everything. So it'll be nice to have something to watch like on that end and still have something to pay attention to as a Wings fan. So exciting pick. But the rest of the draft, is there any guys that stood out to either of you guys that we should talk about right now?
I mean, I just want to point out one thing with Carter Bear, and then I'll point out a couple other things. But like with Bear, like that was probably the biggest need in the organization, a left shot winger, like arguably the biggest need that the organization has. They're so full everywhere else. It felt like on the wing we're getting so heavy right-handed, or just right-handed in general, that we needed a left shot. Maybe a couple other guys I would have took a swing on, but at the end of the day, like, this is the most Yzerman pick that there could be, so it makes the most sense. And he scored 40 goals last year, so not saying that that's going to translate right away, but hopefully he can be that net front guy. Maybe he seems to get a lot of goals right in front of the net. Now, whether that part of his game is what translates or not, who knows, but hopefully he goes back to junior, has a good year. Another goaltender, like I always say, draft one every year. He's huge.
He's huge.
Yeah,
it's right up Steve Yzerman's alley for a goalie pick right there. A big dude.
Yeah, he's big. Solomon, the 4th round. Was it the Serovic from
Serovic?
Yeah, that might be a guy to keep an eye on, just with the way that he plays. Be interesting to see how his game translates. I would believe he's going to play in the SHL this year, coming up from the J20 in Sweden. And then like the late round guy would be Will Murphy, just a gigantic like bowling ball, basically. Like I don't know. It's just hopefully that physicality translates, because you look at some of the teams like that are making deep playoff runs every year. Looking at you, Florida, they got a bunch of guys that are huge. They'll go out there and throw their weight around. Now, granted, that's a 6th round pick, but if by some reason, he gets even to here for the Griffin side, that'd be huge, right? To add a big body that can throw his weight around. So that's just kind of my thing, and we'll see.
Yeah, I think Severic's one that sticks out to me the most. I liked that pick at that time. I think it was the right guy. And I think he's someone that probably shouldn't have been in that spot in the draft. I think we might have gotten a little bit of a steal there based on just looking at the early analysis of it. Obviously, everything's got to pan out, but I think he's going to be a sneaky player to pay attention to. I think you're spot on that one.
He was definitely somebody that I had some interest in afterwards, too. I mean, it's just another Yzerman guy, right? Tough to play against, 2-wave player. But the other guy, too, that I was kind of excited about was the second pick, Eddie Yenborg from Sweden. Very physical, like on the forecheck as well. Cycles really well, is be able to clean it up. I think that one could be some magic there. We typically do see the 2nd round picks here in GR. So that's a guy that I'm interested in. Plus, if he doesn't work out as a forward, I think he can play goalie too.
Something I noticed too when you look at the Jesus, that went right over my head for a second. Oh, good Lord. Something that I noticed, you look at drafts in the past and you're looking at some of the guys they've picked, and it's the setup guys. You're seeing guys with high assist totals, no like elite goal scoring coming out of the draft, really, when you're looking at the stats before they go to the AHL or NHL. And you kind of look this year and everyone was heavy goal scoring and heavy 2-way physicality to their game. Like that's kind of the message of this year's draft. Physical 2-way players that can play defense, but also don't take no crap. And that's a different angle than we've seen Yzerman take. And I'm kind of excited for that, because if you think where down the timeline these guys could land in our lineup or be useful, that's going to be really key. Like Travis said earlier, looking at, Florida having these physical big guys coming in these playoff runs, that we're going to need that. And having a handful of those in the pipeline, it's not going to hurt anything.
Yeah, I mean, like you have Max Plant from last year, who's a setup guy. You got Ammo, setup guy, or goal scorer. You don't have somebody that's in the corners, like puck battles and things like that. You don't think of anybody that's coming up that's like that. So having these guys come in and be able to do that is going to be huge for them. So it's just like you're always trying to pick the best player available or somebody that's going to fit your system, but these guys really complement the guys that we already have in the system. So I don't know if the board just fell that way or if Yzerman and co were trying to like search for these players that could do that in these rounds.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what they were thinking going into it, but I'm not mad about the draft overall. I think they addressed needs, and that's good. That's all you can ask for, right? Go and address the needs. And I think maybe they took a couple swings, which, in the past we've seen them play very safe. And it's nice to see them take a couple swings this year. And you just hope that all those guys pan out. It's going to be fun to watch the development track as always. And for us being a Griffin show, it means a lot because we're going to see these guys a lot sooner than Red Wings fans are going to see them in Detroit. It's just fun to watch out for. I wish, when you look at some of the guys from past drafts, like you mentioned Plant there being in there. I wish he was coming to GR this year. I know it's too early for that, but man, he looks like he's going to be a really promising player, and just kind of looking at the guys that could potentially land in GR this year too. It's exciting to look at. So I like what they did. I'm not mad about it. I know some fans were mad, and I think, you got to look at the other big acquisition during that draft too, and John Gibson. I think that move is a great move. And if you've listened to this show long enough, you heard us for the second half of the season saying Detroit better not pick up a third goalie. Give it, space for Cossa to come up there and get that backup time, get those playing minutes this year. You get a guy like Gibson who is probably going to get injured. Let's be real. You hope he doesn't, because when he's not injured, he's a great goaltender, but he is injury prone. And they are now sitting with Talbot and Gibson. No third goalie. Kossa's got that door open more. What's that going to do for him? I think it's going to drive him to work even harder this year. And I think we're going to see a new version of Sebastian Cossa that now sees the door open instead of seeing he has to jump around two guys to get there.
Well, Andy got snubbed not being on the, under 25 top goaltenders.
Yeah, the NHL admins tweeting this stuff out this offseason. What are they doing? You snub Lucas Raymond, and then you put Wallstead ahead of Cossa?
I think they put
Trey. I'm sorry. Did they watch? Right? Yeah, Augustine was 6th on the list, and he hasn't played a pro game yet.
Right.
I understand he's good, but let's not snub Coast like this. Come on.
Well, and they didn't bring in any other veteran goaltender even for GR. It's clearly going to be Cossa, Postova here. That was kind of made known even before the draft. In Yzerman's end of the season, Postova, Cossa, you mentioned both of them and playing down here, and first call up, who that's going to be, right? I think it's time to see him maybe get 5-10 games, if not more, if a bad injury pops up. And let's be real, both of those goaltenders are injury prone. I mean, Talbot missed time last year. Gibby's missed time over the last few years. You hope that you get the John Gibson even last year, albeit in just 29 games, but that level of goaltender that was just that top tier level for a while, and then the Ducks just entered their rebuild, and it's this move should have happened for him probably 5 years ago. Soon as the Ducks started to nosedive, they should have just shipped him out immediately. I feel like they waited too long because they could have got more if you think back years ago. Now you're picking up another goaltender and a second round pick and a fourth, and then Yzerman goes out and reacquires the fourth that he moved. So you basically, at the end of the day, traded Joe Veleno in a second for John Gibson.
Isn't a bad deal, honestly. And you gotta look, you look at Gibson's numbers too, that like you said, 29 games, but that's in front or behind a terrible Ducks team. They're not good. So he was able to put up those solid numbers in that short time playing behind a terrible team.
The thing that makes me nervous about it, though, is we talk so much, and the trade was great because from what the first trade was a first round, was it a first round and Anton Johansson?
That's what people kept saying, yeah.
And holy crap, people were mad because Steve didn't try to jump on the trade at that point, and then you circle back a little bit later. Okay, well, the values come down a little bit. Hey, this is a deal that we can actually do, and I think it was a great trade. It was probably one of the biggest areas that we, as the Detroit Red Wings, was this is where we needed to fill, according to fans. So it's just all right, you got a veteran guy in there. Yes, he's injury prone at some points. He hasn't played a full season in a while. I don't think that's a huge issue because you're looking at going 1A, 1B. You kind of want to do that that Boston set up with Swayman and Allmark a couple of years ago, keep it fresh. The concerning part for me is okay, so if that's the plan going in, what are we doing here at GR? Because we only have Postova and then Carter Gylander coming up. Is that a recipe for success if Cossa is gone for an extended amount of time? Great for Cossa. We want him to have success in the NHL, but what are we doing down here then? Like, maybe we need 3 goaltenders again. Like, I don't know.
It leaves a lot of questions because Toledo hasn't signed another goaltender yet, to our knowledge, at
Toledo
least.
needs one, yeah.
We haven't seen anything, so we don't know what that's going to look like entirely. I mean, Postava, however you say his name. I feel bad we're butchering all these names before we ever meet these guys. We'll figure it out eventually, though. I mean, if you missed that signing and don't know who he is, he's out of Czechia and played 42 games last year at a 2.39 goals against and a .921 save percentage. Good numbers over there, but what's that going to translate over here? There's a lot of unknowns with this. So it really looks like, the organization looking at Sebastian Cossa going, this is your prove it year. This is your year to show us what you're going to do and what your development track's going to look like. And if you're ready, like you've got to be ready this year because you could potentially, let's say Postava doesn't carry the load here in Grand Rapids very well. You're going to have to lean on Cossa a lot to make a run. So he's going to play a heck of a lot of games if this kid doesn't pan out. They're just putting all the cards in one go here and saying, go.
I mean, maybe was the plan last year, if you think about it. Because what'd they say after the first game, Nick? They wanted him to play like 50 games, 55 games, I think. When you were in post game, I'm pretty sure it was something like that. And then there were just too many goalies around. And that goes back to the Ville Husso trade should have happened at training camp, not in February or whatever it was, March, April, somewhere, or not April, but
we needed those shutouts at the beginning of the season. That helped our goals against
in Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
I just think it kind of gives, like you said, Brandon, him clarity, really. Just come in and go, just play. And if you steal it, you steal it. If somebody gets hurt and you go up, and you never know, guy gets hurt, he goes up and plays that well, you might not get him back. Then you are scrambling. And then it's a matter of Skylander is either in GR or comes up to GR, and it's with him and Postava, and Toledo signing 2 goaltenders, or I don't know. It's going to be interesting. You went from having too many to you almost need at least one more. But if they sign one more, the world will end, because that's what happens when Detroit signs another goaltender.
Well,
it's what it feels like.
We still have one in the organization, correct? We still have Landon Miller.
He's not signed.
Landon Miller is not signed, but he was a draft pick, and who knows if he ends up in Toledo? I could see something like that. I heard he had a really good prospect camp or development camp from what we saw, and who knows? I think he was one that everyone kind of forgot about because his last season with the Sioux in the OHL was not great, honestly, numbers wise. But at the same time, goalies are goalies. They might not do well there, and then they get into the pros and they're lights out. Who knows? You don't know until they get there. So I could see him being in Toledo as a potential. It's going to be interesting. We really just need Toledo to announce what they're going to do there. That'll kind of answer all these questions for us. And if this episode's like anything like last time we did some goalie talk, the signing will come through right before we post this or in the middle of recording it here on Sunday night. So who knows? That's what happened with Postava when we were talking about the goalies a couple episodes back. So who knows? Moving on from goalies.
Sorry, I should try to go through the roster real quick for the dev camp to see if they're who was there, but I'm not finding that picture at the moment.
That's okay. We'll move on from goalies because we spend a lot of this podcast talking about goalies, and we got free agency to talk about because there was a lot that impacted Grand Rapids on that side of things too. You look at the moves Detroit did make. You see a couple of guys come in at that level, and it's a couple placeholders, right? The short-term deals, not a lot of damage done. I mean, Travis, I always lean on you for the NHL insight. When you look at just the Detroit guys, are you happy with what Detroit did on that end during free agency?
Well, they got better around the edges, but didn't improve what everybody wanted them to improve. And it, again, caused, alarm bells to go off like crazy. But I mean, let's be real. If you can get the same production out of JVR at $1 million versus what you got out of Tarasenko at 4 3/4, well, that's a net positive gain. Bernard Docker could sneak in. The big one I think would be JVR, because he can play anywhere. He could spot fill on the first line for a few games. He can play that third line role. He's probably going to play second power play net front. Really, I mean, Mason Appleton, bottom 6 guy. They're trying to improve that bottom 6, which that was a huge issue last year. Now, granted, Appleton's not going to do what Daniel Sprong did, come in and score almost 20 goals. Daniel Sprong was a guy that could score on limited minutes, but was kind of a nightmare defensively. Like Appleton's at least way more responsible defensively, but he's not going to score like Daniel Sprong did. And I feel like as a whole for that team to get better, until they start playing better defense as a whole in units of 5, they're not going to get better. They don't need to score more goals. They need to get more goals not scored on them. And it starts with playing better defense as a team. So yeah, it's not the big splashy stuff that everybody wanted, but like Yzerman said, like half the guys they would have wanted to talk to, they didn't even get a chance to because they were gone. Like,
Yeah,
your
everyone
hands are
moved quickly.
tied. Right. Like the Marner thing, like you look at that and it's like, we wouldn't have traded anything to get him, I don't think. Like, and the only reason that happened is so there wasn't a tampering thing, which why would Toronto help Vegas out there? Like, why wouldn't you just like let him walk and sign a different guy? But whatever. And then you factor in like just like Bennett re-signed, you know, all the big names basically didn't even hit the market. Ekblad re-signed. So like there was nothing major for them to do outside of a crazy trade that, let's be honest, like wasn't going to happen. Like,
Or still could.
it
Like,
could.
I don't think it will, but the
No,
door's
I
not
think-
closed.
I would say like if you're going to see anything, it's maybe around training camp, but
Yeah.
and that could
think
be
things
with
will
a
stay quiet
that
till
could be
then.
with a prospect forcing an issue too. Like you never know. So I don't know. I didn't think it was bad. I think they did good by not signing some of the deals like Tanner Janot got. There was a few.
My God.
There's a few contracts that were signed, and I was just like, everybody's on there just screaming at it, and I'm like, guys, like, do you want more Andrew Kops and JT Compher contracts? Because that's what's getting handed out right now.
Could have got Cody CC.
Yeah, Ken Holland strikes again. Let's get younger, and we're going young with the kids in LA, and now we're gonna bring in guys that are older and don't move like they're used to. Only Ken
Yeah.
Holland.
Only Ken. Good for him. Doing damage all over and leaving a mess behind. Love it. Just keep doing it. He should actually start working for teams in our division. That would be way better.
No, that'd somehow end up as collusion, and then we'd be getting fined, and you could just, I can just see how that'd be a problem.
Oh God, let's not get into that. Let's look at the free agent moves on the AHL side of things. And there's one, the big obvious one that I think we're all excited about. John Leonard, you know, playing for the Charlotte Checkers last year, 72 games, 36 goals, 25 assists, a pure goal scorer, exactly what the Griffins didn't have last season to an extent. You know, you had some goal scorers, but there wasn't just that elite shot that could score from wherever you need him to on the ice when you need him to. I think it's going to be really exciting to have John Leonard on this team.
Yeah, coming from Checkers, right? So I mean, that's a big addition. Reminds me of last year when we added somebody from Hershey, right?
Yeah. I mean, that player panned out just how you thought they would.
Yeah,
They were good.
Played really well. So I think that's really who he's coming in to replace is Mr. Joe Snively, with Snively signing overseas. So I'm excited to see this guy on the top line. I'm excited to have that goal scoring ability again. I mean, after we lost Bergie to, be called up, we haven't really gotten somebody that can put the puck in the net consistently, like Joe and Sheldon Dries did while they were here. So having this guy come in, it'll be a good boost for us. And I just thought it was big. Like you get another guy that went to the finals, coming to GR.
Experience this team needs. It's more leadership. It's not saying the leadership wasn't there last season, but guys like that are so valuable.
Right. If only Detroit could get some of these guys to like pick up the phone and answer, right? GR is having a good job of like convincing these guys to come play for us. So, I thought that was huge.
I mean, Grand Rapids is definitely a destination spot in the AHL. Like, it's not a bad city to be in the American League. There's definitely worse landing spots if you're going to have to sign a deal, an NHL deal, a two-way deal, and you're going to have to spend most of your time in GR. Not many guys are going to complain about that. Yeah, the winter might suck a little bit, but it could be way worse.
Right. You could go to like Chicago or Rockford.
Shots
Milwaukee.
fired across the division here.
Manitoba.
That's a cold one.
Here's my question with Leonard. Which version of him are you getting? Are you getting the guy that scored 12 goals, 17 goals, 17 goals, or are you getting the guy that scored 36 goals?
I'm glad you said that because that makes it interesting because you look at
or point production.
You look at some past players, though. Like, I think one sticks out every time when I'm talking about this scenario, and it's Joel Esperance, what we saw in his last season with Ben Simon as the head coach and his first season with Dan Watson as the head coach. We saw two very different players based on the system and the play style. Does John Leonard fit that system, or Dan Watson's system, as good as he's going to fit the Charlotte system? Which, watching that team play in the finals, they do kind of play a similar system and a similar setup. Now, a lot of teams play that system across the league and just have different tweaks here and there. But I think he'll fit Coach Watson's scheme better, or at least as good, to be able to produce at that level. And I think they're they're banking on that happening. Like, there's a lot of faith in that happening.
You know, you still could go back to watch last season. I started to the other day. And so maybe what? Yeah.
Painful experience there at some points.
I mean, flow starts so early before the game, so it was like I didn't even get to the game. I was listening to Bob, so maybe go back through and like watch some of the Charlotte games to see how they play and see how John Leonard actually fits. Might be helpful. It's kind of see. I mean, it's definitely a question that I would have for Coach Watson when we get him back on. Kind of like concerns and like how this guy fits and like how the inner workings work with this guy coming over here.
Yeah, it'll be. It's going to be interesting. You look at the other signings too that happened. We got another defenseman coming in here, which at first when we saw that, we're like, oh, there's so many defensemen, but things have started to even out when you look at people who probably aren't returning to Grand Rapids and seeing them. But Ian Mitchell, with Providence last season, 47 games, 4 goals, 23 assists, good puck moving defenseman. Exactly what you'd want to see comes in. I believe he's right shot as well. I could be wrong on that, but I believe he's a right shot.
His head, yeah.
If Travis is shaking his head, we're good with my stat there. I didn't just pull it out of nowhere. Yeah, I mean, that's another good piece to add.
I feel like this was a kind of a big name too, Ian Mitchell. Like I've heard this guy before. I believe he played in our division.
At some point in time, I believe you're correct. I don't remember what team. I'd have to pull it up here quick while we're doing this, but
well, he was a second round pick. Let's keep that.
The name rings a bell for sure, and I'm just kind of glad he's on our side.
Played a few games for Rockford a few years ago.
That's what it is.
He was with Rockford for a few seasons. He played 39 games with the Blackhawks and then was with Rockford for a couple of years. So up and down.
Interesting. Well, I'm excited to see him here. I mean, anyone not on the Rockford side, I'm going to, cheer for him now. I would never have cheered for him then. We're just firing all the shots at Rockford today before the season even starts. Good Lord.
Do you guys play him like 40
times? Their fan will be ruthless.
Not this year. We don't. Luckily, we get a break for Rockford.
We'll get to the schedule release here in a minute, but we don't play them a million times this season. Thank God. But for Detroit signings, that's really all that impacted Grand Rapids. Now, Grand Rapids has made some other signings here as well, too. There was a recent late one that I didn't see coming. I was surprised by it, which is always nice to see. It was another defenseman, another acronym player in the organization here as well. I'm going to not butcher his name. I'm going to butcher the crap out of it. We got Alex Kanak, Leprate, whatever. AKL.
AKL. The initialism is what it's been corrected.
Whatever. Either way. 24-year-old right shot D-man, though. Played 59 games with Bakersfield last year. 4 goals, 7 assists, but 93 penalty minutes. It looks like Austin Watson might not have to be the only one chucking fists this year, which there is a fight from 2023 where AKL got into it, and the only way to describe it is old school chucking them. And the guy was significantly larger than him, and he beat the crap out of him. So nice to have some more grit on the back end. You think about the Griffins' defense the last few seasons, we haven't had a defenseman besides, Josiah Didier could throw him and would throw him when needed to, but you're asking a guy at the later part of his career here to start chucking him and be the guy that sparks him. Now you get some young 24-year-old that can come in here and chuck him like that. I'm very happy to see them add some grit to the back end. Imagine a line where they're both Watson and him are on the ice together. I'm here for that.
When this got tweeted out a couple weeks ago or a couple days ago, whenever you decide to listen to this, I was very interested with this guy. Or whenever we decide to drop it, right? I was very interested with this guy because I saw somewhere, and we try to find it again, is that he played some time on the right wing. He played some time forward on the winger. I think he played a little bit center. So this guy's kind of like a Swiss Army knife as well, where he can play different positions, which would have been helpful for us last year, right? Because we ran out of forwards at halfway through the season. So I'm wondering, like, how does Coach Watson plan on like deploying this guy out there? And then what scenarios? Like, is he going to be like an extra guy on the penalty kill? Is he going to be an extra guy on the power play? Like, is he going to be playing up or down the line? Like, is he going to play some games at forward? Where is this guy going to end up playing? So I'm excited to see that part. And then the second one is like right before we started recording, we saw this huge fight. So in my head, I'm thinking like this might be Josiah Didier's like replacement since he hasn't decided if he's coming back or not. Like that first year with Josiah, he was the guy chucking up, throwing them, hitting people left and right, getting crazy. And like maybe we see this guy kind of step into that role, maybe a little bit more aggressive than what Josiah did. I feel like he was still a little cautious that first year, but maybe this guy's a little bit longer leash. And I know last year Watson said that he wanted the guys to play a little bit more gritty, a little bit more sandpapery, and fight more, be more aggressive. So maybe this is the guy that can come in and really set the tone and keep the game going.
Yeah, it's a good move. I like it. I mean, you look, it's a defenseman. There's not a million points being put up by him, but another guy that can defend what's going to look like it's going to be another young Griffins team this year. You like to see that out there. And then outside of that, no other real additions. There were some subtractions that we'll talk about here in a second, but there's two other guys we've got to mention on the defensive side of the puck that I think everyone forgets is in the system. We don't know if they'll land in GR or Toledo, but that's Jacob Truscott and Nick Andrews. Nick Andrews spent time with Toledo during the playoffs last year. We can assume that Andrews will be in Toledo to start the season this year, but Truscott's kind of the up in the air. We don't know what's going to happen with him. If you forgot about him, signed out of the University of Michigan, and everything we've heard about him is, fantastic kid, smart player, really smart defensively, and another good guy to have in the locker room. So I think everyone, when they're building their rosters for Detroit or like looking at the prospects in the system, they kind of forget his name. And I wanted to make sure we brought him back into the light here to understand he's still out there. We don't know which team he'll be on. I think, Trav, for you're kind of hoping starts in Toledo at least for 5 games, right?
Get as many guys qualified as we can. After last year, get as many as we can.
Yeah, I'm here for that. I mean, and if he is a guy that lands in Toledo to start, it's a great addition for them. That's huge. He's a 6'1" left shot defenseman. At last weigh in college, 185. So I got to put in a little bit more size in this league. That's where I think he'll start in Toledo. But at the same time, another good guy to have around the room. He was apparently fantastic with passing. Like can find guys no matter what in any situation. Which when you look at the neutral zone play of the Grand Rapids Griffins last year, you go, awesome. I'd love to have that on the back end there.
Or just get it out of your zone.
Well, that's the obvious fact, right?
First pass is the most important one. So
what they say, at least.
To have a guy be able to just find the wingers on the boards, it's a huge thing.
It is. It really is. Now to talk about some subtractions that we for sure know are not returning. Cross Hannes didn't get a qualifying offer from the Griffins or Detroit, so we assume we will not see Cross Hannes this season, which sucks. This is that player that his rookie season, he showed those flashes and then injuries and everything else. He just couldn't find that stride. It's a guy we've enjoyed talking to, a former guest in the show. Does suck to see him leave. I think he was, we were really growing on him in the locker room. At least he enjoyed talking to us. So it always sucks to lose a guy like that. Then another one, Joe Snively, you alluded to it earlier, Nick, not returning this year. It was kind of one of those ones you knew wouldn't get an offer from Detroit, but you kind of hoped Grand Rapids might sneak a deal in there and add him back into the fold, but he's heading overseas.
Yeah, good for him, I guess. I just don't understand why we didn't try to re-sign this guy. I mean, even the money made sense on our end, I felt. I think he only signed like $10,000 more than the minimum over here. Something like that. So
could be going for the experience.
I think so. I think, Travis, you also said it best to all of us is like everyone in the league had the opportunity to sign him and they didn't.
Right.
So maybe it was a him decision to go get that experience. Maybe the payday is bigger in that league that he's going to. Who knows? It probably is, being over in Europe. That's kind of how it goes over there. Those paydays, when you're putting up as many points as he does, it's probably a decent size paycheck coming his way. So we wish him luck. It sucks to lose him. We would have liked to retain that, especially on an AHL contract. That would have been huge. But probably unlikely from his camp, I would say. Then obviously we talked earlier too. Vero headed overseas as well. That was mentioned in previous episodes. And Gage Alexander didn't get a qualifying offer. Goaltender that bounced around a million different ways. Hopefully he finds a landing spot where he can play a full season with the team. It's that guy you felt so bad for in that situation with us having so many goalies. Finally gets his shot in Toledo to play some games, gets injured for the rest of the season. His season was just, I felt so bad for him.
Yeah, that it felt like he never got to really play in Toledo. He got the one start and got hurt and didn't come back, and I just pulled him up, and he has not been signed yet this year. So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully somebody gives him an opportunity somewhere. Seemed like a nice guy in passing. Didn't really get to actually talk to him, but in passing seemed like a nice guy. I
mean, those games he went and played for, was it Reading?
Yeah,
he did well over there. So someone in the coast at least has got to give him a shot.
Yeah, he had a 913 with Reading and a 281 in albeit 5 games. But yeah, hopefully he gets an opportunity somewhere. Seemed like a great kid.
Yeah. But outside of that, no other real notable departures, unless I'm missing something. Someone correct me here. But from the note I have in front of me, those are the real notable ones. I would try to sit here and say, what does the Griffins roster look like? But it's too early to tell. I had Travis try to draw one up one night, and I'm like, we're still missing pieces here.
No.
We'll do a too early to predict roster prediction maybe within the next couple of weeks, but for now, we're going to wait and see. I think Grand Rapids is not done signing players either. Travis, I think you and I are both on the same page of we need more depth at this level, at least between Toledo and GR. So hopefully you see some more stuff come out there. We know that won't be a Red Wings move most likely, but we'd like to see some more depth at this level for sure. I don't want to see a situation where Hunter Johannes is still a free agent.
Yep, Hunter.
Toledo should definitely sign him, or Grand Rapids should definitely sign him at a deal where he can go back and forth between the two teams. I think that would be a brilliant move. And I just don't want to see Grand Rapids in a situation this year where it's like, well, why did you choose this lineup tonight? It's all we had.
Right.
like, please, God, no, let's not do that again. That's a clown show. We don't need that. But outside of that, any other thoughts just on free agency, what things are shaking up to be? What do you hope to see? Any thoughts that you guys want to say here, or, in the comments on YouTube here, let us know what you're hoping to see too. But what are you guys thinking?
I'll go through some of the unrestricted free agents too that we have. So Tim Gettinger. So he's a UFA, not signed. Josiah Didier, I mentioned before. Brogan Rafferty, UFA as well. I'd like to see him back, but we are starting to get a little loaded with D. But
Toledo?
I don't think it was Toledo. But he was one guy that brought a lot of veteran experience, a lot of positive. So you know how much they like to keep a lot of defensemen. So I mean, who knows where he ends up going? There's a couple guys that are still available too, like big free agents in the AHL. But I think a lot of it is going to depend on who has a good summer, right, with Detroit, because that's going to factor in. Steve really made it known, like, hey, like, it's anybody's chance. I'm not blocking any of the kids. The kids have a chance to actually make the team. And so it's just like, do you see another year of Nate Danielson down here? Do you see another year of MBN, a full season of MBN down here? Like, those are guys that, could move up or could be down here. So it's tough too, of like, to try to sign some of these guys for depth that maybe they're third or fourth line guys that could slot down to Toledo and play, second or third line.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think, I'll get Travis's thoughts before I throw you guys one last question on this.
More depth, more AHL contracts, please and thank you. Please and thank you. We need more of it, not having 11 healthy guys up front. That's the only reason you skate 11 guys. Go out and sign 4 or 5 more guys to AHL deals. If you got to stash a couple in Toledo, oh well, guys get hurt. They can come up and fill in, and you never know. Guys might get called up like last year too. So more AHL signings, please and thank you.
And some might say, it's hard to convince, guys to sign when they're going to be maybe playing a good amount of time in the ECHL. But at the same time, is there a better landing spot in the ECHL than Toledo? No. I mean, the facilities, the environment, the organization, if you need a sales pitch on it, we got you. I'll write it up right now. Like, it's a great landing spot if you're going to be a guy that's bouncing back and forth. They're going to be that depth piece. I don't think that would be the holdup. So hopefully they can kind of flex that muscle and get those guys.
Yeah. I mean, we need the depth as much as anything. The only guy that I'm like just looking through the draft list real quick of like what Yzerman has drafted, and the only guy that I could see, we talked a little bit about it before air, is Red Savage. I mean, that's the only guy that I could see making a, he just finished at MSU. I know he's trying to get eligibility for a 5th year. I don't think it's going to get approved. So I think that's been the holdup from what I hear on the inside sources that I have, that he is, and Steve mentioned it earlier in the press conference too, is Sean's working on it. He's trying to get him signed. He's trying to get him over here. So I think that's the only one except for Keenan Draper is the other one that just finished college. So that's the other guy that could possibly make. But a lot of the guys that I'm seeing on here, they're still in college, have another year or two, or they're overseas. So it's like, or they're too young. They're in juniors, like they're finishing out their junior year. So those are the two. You would assume Draper's going to probably sign.
Toledo.
You would assume Toledo would be great. I love Keenan Draper and Toledo makes sense. Red Savage and Grand Rapids also makes sense. And yes, Sean, get that deal done and make sure he's got jersey number 21 and then have the team actually produce them for sale. Trust me, it'll make a ton of money.
That's where you call printing money.
I think.
Yeah, look what MSU did. That was the highest selling jersey in, I'm pretty sure, all of college hockey.
I think Snively
it's
was
21 Savage. Like, come on.
Yeah, exactly. It makes sense. The marketing spells itself out for you. Don't screw this up, guys. Please.
They're probably like, it's a copyright infringement.
Oh, shut up. No, it wasn't. MSU pulled it off. We can pull it off too. You print the jerseys, you print the jerseys. You got to have both available. Those will sell.
That number is available. Joe Snively had it last year. So
perfect. It's done.
He get his number. They can print it up. Let's go. It just makes too much sense.
Come on, Sean. Don't disappoint us here, please, for the love of God. Last question before we move on to the schedule release for the Griffins. I'm going to get you guys here with your hot take. Who from the Griffins roster last season starts in Detroit night one, if anybody? Travis?
Oh, boy. Sorry, I did not expect this. Nick, go first.
You want hot take or you want logical take? Because
you know what? From you, I want a hot take. And then I want your logical take, because your hot takes are always leaving me with my head scratching over here. Just kind of going, what are you doing? So your hot take, who from the Griffins roster last season starts night one in Detroit?
Just say it.
You want me to say Amadeus Lombardi.
Ooh.
But I don't think that's
I mean, I'm not looking for anything here. I'm just looking for who you think from the Griffins roster last season starts night one with the Detroit Red Wings.
I think that's what Trav was trying to get me to go with, but I still think it's going to be Carter Mazer.
I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's the obvious take.
Yeah, that's like the Steve Yzerman drafting Carter Bear level of like common sense.
Yeah.
He played in a game last year, dude. Like
half one.
Well, he played one shift. He played 20 seconds. I'm just looking at the roster right now, and I'm just like, I don't see anybody that's like, honestly, I don't think anybody does. No rookie started the year before, so that's why I don't think anybody will actually do it. Casper started after. He played 2 or 3 games, 4 games with GR. 1 home game. That's all you got a chance with him. So that's why I don't think anybody will. But if you want like a hot take, like it'll be like Mazer, Ammo.
Logical takes Mazer. Hot takes Ammo.
I love it.
Ammo's the one positional need that they have. A left shot playmaker, can shoot the puck. Like, he would be the guy of the prospects that was on the team last year. Is it likely? No. Is it possible? Anything's possible. I mean, like, he became a game breaker in the American League last year. That's the kind of step you needed him to take. Is it out of the realm of possibility that he could ride shotgun with Larkin and Raymond? Skill-wise, I bet he could do it. Like, is it logical? No. Scheme-wise, maybe.
Entertainment-wise, yes.
Well, think about this, too, is like the biggest struggle that Ammo had this past season was his defense, right? They wanted him to be more defensively sound. And so I could see, like, if Patrick Kane got injured or was hurt, like, maybe they could replace Ammo there on that line. Because already the forwards don't play enough defense or get back. So, I mean, that would be just kind of like a 1-for-1, right?
That's fired.
Like, I don't want to compare, and I don't want anybody to take away from this is that I'm comparing Patrick Kane to Amadeus Lombardi, or like Amadeus Lombardi to Patrick Kane. But just like the fact, like, Kaner just sits up there. He just cherry picks, right? Like, he's not really getting back playing defense. You could put Ammo there. Ammo at least does get back and play defense. So you could see like possibly replacing him on that end if there was an injury or anything like that. But yeah, I think Gamma would be the hot take. I see a lot of people say Nate, and I think Nate still needs some time, and he needs some strength as well.
Depends where you want to deploy Nate, I think.
Yeah, I think they want to
if you're
stick
deploying him
with
at
center.
center, it's not
He
the
needs
time.
time.
It's not. He's not ready.
Could he slot
Yeah.
on the wing? I could see
Yeah.
that on the right side, but again, like you got that right side kind of figured out.
Kind of locked up.
Yeah, so I don't, unless you're gonna have somebody play their offhand, which they've done before. Nate, I wouldn't rule Nate out. I think of the three that are the most likely would be Mazer, Ammo, Nate. I mean, there would have to be a lot go right in this scenario. You could maybe say ASP, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
I
Go with the other initial kid, MBN.
Maybe.
don't think that's going to happen either, though. I think those two
It's
need
not.
a full year here.
They do.
I
Now-
think we're all in a go ahead.
With MBN, he could be up by Christmas just with the way he plays.
Right.
Like, that's where he could be an exception to. He's probably stylistically closer to what the Red Wings want. Him and Mazer are probably like the style guys that would just seemingly transition better. But I don't know. There's 5 guys that you could say like MBN, ASP, Nate, Ammo, not Marco. You know where I'm going.
Exactly.
You got 5 guys to pick from basically, and I don't. I still think they run it back completely. All the
Yeah.
kids are in GR to start because I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah, I think that's the official. If you're looking for the official of where we stand as a podcast on who is going to start in Detroit night one, we say no one. I mean, Mazer is the outlier, right? Because he played a game. He played a game for Detroit last year. I don't consider him in this conversation. If he's ready to go, he's going to be in Detroit. If he's not, he's going to be here, and that's fine. But out of everyone else, I think they all start here. I think we all agree that they all start here, which is going to make a very fun season for us down here. Let's be real. This is going to be, we thought last season was fun. This is going to be a fun season of coverage because of the amount of prospects and, where they fall in the depth chart of the organization. It's a lot of high profile guys in this organization for us that be fortunate to watch every single time they're playing at home. That's going to be a huge benefit for us and a lot of fun. But it also leaves the door open for a lot of chaos and roster movement, which goes back to the original point of sign depth players at this level, please, for the love of God.
Sean Owens. I feel like we said this last year, though. We're like, on paper, this is the best looking Griffins team we've seen in a while.
I didn't say it was the best. I said it was going to be fun. The entertainment value is going to be there because of the guys you're watching.
I feel like we said one of the best rosters that we've seen on paper in a long time. And then it just kind of stayed stagnant.
But look at the past few seasons that we've seen.
That was great.
And the past few seasons on paper weren't great. Let's be real. At least we've made the playoffs the last 2 years. Thank God. Oh, yeah. So that's our take. I'm sure we'll get flamed in the comments for it. Let us know your thoughts. But moving on from rosters and all that fun stuff, let's talk about the schedule, because the Griffins' full season schedule did come out and it's exciting. There's a couple of teams returning to the schedule this year that we haven't seen in a while. You look at the Charlotte Checkers. It'll be the first time since 2016-17 season that we will, meet against that team again. And I know, Travis, you were trying to go to a game in Charlotte. I don't think it's going to work out for you, but I know you wanted to.
Why? It's a Friday, Saturday. Selfish reasons.
Selfish reasons. I like it. But I mean, for you, it's your closet favorite NHL team's organization, at least on the schedule for us. So There you go. Yeah, you closet Panthers fan. We'll out you here. So she and Charlotte back on there. I was excited to see Toronto back on there. It just makes so much sense for your Detroit system to be playing against the Toronto system. It's just so much more fun to play against that team. I'm really excited to see them back on the schedule. But those are really the only two out of character teams that we haven't seen, out of division teams that we haven't seen in a while. You got Cleveland on the schedule this year. Obviously the whole division's on the schedule. And at least this year we don't play the Rockford Ice Hogs 12 times. It's the Milwaukee Admirals that we play a bunch more times. Which, hey, that rivalry goes back way longer than Rockford. So that I support that decision of playing them. It's either them or the Wolves you want to play that much because the rivalry goes back to the IHL days. That's fine. When you're throwing the Ice Hogs on the schedule 12 times, it's just painful. And it's interesting to see that we're not playing Cleveland New Year's Eve. We're playing Milwaukee.
I think last year we played Rockford 14 times.
I think in total, yes. I think that's what it balanced out to be. I'm happy to not see that.
10 times this year. That's it. So, I mean, it's a lot more manageable. I would rather play Milwaukee just because they traditionally have been better than Rockford. Rockford's more gritty, more physical. So I'd rather us play Milwaukee, who's kind of got a really good, franchise over there. Organization is what I should say. So it really compares you the best to the best.
It honestly does. I mean, when you're looking at how those teams have stacked up over the past few years, it makes sense to play them more. It's going to test us more. Not that, it would have been more fun to play Milwaukee 12 times when Askarov was still there and you get the Cossa Askarov matchup way more, but who knows what that roster and that team's going to look interesting this year for sure. We'll dive into that as the season gets closer, obviously. Looking at, we start the season in Texas. You start the season against the team that knocked you out of the playoffs. That should be interesting. Your home openers against Manitoba. Huh?
Bulletin board.
Yeah, bulletin board game in Texas there. Yeah, Manitoba for the home opener. The home finale this year is against Rockford. And the season finale's at Cleveland, which is interesting.
Yeah, maybe give Dan some family time before heading in the playoffs. Maybe
there you go. Good way to look at it. That's definitely was taken into consideration there for sure. No. Yeah, like we said, Milwaukee 12 times, 6 times at home, 6 on the road. Chicago and Rockford 10 times, 5 on the road, 5 at home. Cleveland, Iowa, Manitoba, and Texas 8 times, a 4-4. And then you Charlotte and Toronto, you play them 4 times, 2 on the road, 2 at home. That's all the opponents we play this year. I really wish the AHL could expand out and you see more teams.
Christ, I think we're playing more teams than you guys are.
I'm pretty sure you guys are when I looked at it. The cool thing, I think, you look at the home schedule. Friday, 14 home games this year. 14 $2 beer nights. It seems like a lot compared to last year. I feel like we had a lot of Saturday games last year compared to the Friday games. You got 10 on Wednesdays, 10 weekday, 10 winning Wednesdays, 8 Saturday games, and 4 Sunday games at home this year. Their longest road trip is in March from the 15th to the 26th.
The concern that I have on the schedule is the next thing. 3 games in 3 nights. That's March 13th, 14th, and 15th. And then March 20th, 21st, and 22nd. That late in the season, we're playing 3. Like in the same month, we're playing 3 and 3. Like
you're playing 2 3-3s in that month at the end of the season.
What are we doing? Why couldn't they schedule something sooner? Like if we're gonna do that at all, like I don't know who the
one in the beginning and one in the end of the season. 3-3s at this level scare the crap out of me because that's where the things started to fall off last year.
Yeah, I'm wondering who those, Well, we can look.
We can easily look and see who those games are against. You
Milwaukee,
said the 13th.
Milwaukee, Chicago, and then it's Rockford, Milwaukee, Rockford. What?
Gauntlet.
Why did you? What? Like if you're gonna schedule it, that makes 0 sense right there.
This makes me laugh.
Go and then leave and then come back to play like why not just play a back-to-back nights and then go up to Milwaukee or go to Milwaukee then come down and play Rockford back-to-back? Instead you got to travel in between. What are we doing?
You guys need to spend more time in the coast. Yeah,
I know
you're not cut out for these 3-3s.
Okay, settle down.
We get them like once
we're
a month.
Not cut out. It's the team's not cut out.
Yeah, that's more of the thing.
It was like a general thing, not like a shot at you guys.
And these are all away.
Like a shot at us.
These aren't even home. These are away. So it's just like you got to travel. You got so much travel for them. You're already. I think that's about the time when we were down to like 11 forwards this year. It's just I don't know. It's silly to me. It's just silly.
The playing, traveling, going back is stupid. I'll
Right.
give you that. Like I'm used to the 3-3s. So like it's when you have like a game in a city, then you got to travel, then you got to come back to the city. It's like what the hell's the point here? Or do like a 1-2 or a 2-1. Like just figure it out.
Right. Figure it out. I mean, it's one thing to play the 3 same team, like the same team 3 nights in a row, because that's what you guys do down on the coast. But this is a go, travel, come back. I know you're kind of swinging your way back to GR at that point, but it's like play the one before. It could have been different. I also hate the fact that we only play like Toronto, Charlotte, and Cleveland. Like those are our only other 3 away teams. Like, could you find somebody else? I feel like we had more out of conference games last year.
Like we did too. Like, how do we not, play more teams in the North Division, Bill? I mean, we play Cleveland, we play Toronto. That's good. But Belleville's in there. God, who else is in that division? I'm in off-season form, so I forget the divisions at this point. You also have, everyone on the East Coast.
Play Rochester, play Syracuse, play Hershey. Like,
yeah,
these aren't long
Bridgeport, Springfield, Hartford, Wilkes-Barre, Lehigh Valley again.
Yeah.
We loved seeing them come through last year.
We did, but we played a ton of teams out of conference last year, and this year it's 3. Here you go. And like
Yeah.
the two aren't really like, yeah, it's fun to play Toronto. Yeah, I get that. But and then Cleveland's always on there. But that's it. That's all you could give us. Come on.
Yeah, our only out of division rivalry at this point is Cleveland because we play them so much every single year. Like we've lost that spark with Toronto, and I mean Belleville, Grand Rapids just makes sense with the Ottawa Detroit rivalry. Like, come on, just give that to us at this level. Let us develop something like that, not just having to be a rivalry against teams within your division. It would be so much more fun.
They also
Like
gave us.
Wilkes-Barre, give us the whole Detroit Pittsburgh rivalry
Yeah.
back. Come on,
You could have hit
Wilkes-Barre's
them
a
up.
fun one.
Hershey right there as you're through, right? They're not too far, are
Yeah.
they?
Yeah, if you're gonna do a road trip gauntlet with a 3-3, make it the freaking East Coast. Like, let's go up there. Let's go to the Atlantic Division and hit 3 different teams in 3 nights. If you want to make it terrible, like, let's just do it.
I also think
I only say
that
Lehigh
division-
was cool because they have the best logo in the AHL. Sorry, the Phantom logo is sweet, and you know it is.
I wouldn't say it's the best one in the AHL.
It's one of the best. Fine.
Again, personal
Dude.
reasons.
January looks interesting too. I think that's the most amount of games in a month is in January as well. If I looked at this correctly and read that note on here properly, January, especially at home, January, we see the 8 games at home in January? Yeah.
Yep.
7 in November and February, 5 in December, only 4 in March, only 4 home games in March. A lot of time on the road at the end of the season again.
2 in April, so that's kind of nice for our schedule.
The end of the for us, great. End of the season for the team, on the road a lot. So hopefully they're a good road team this year. That's all you can hope for. Any final thoughts on the schedule before we wrap up this episode, though? I think it's about
be
that
up there.
time. You will.
I'll be at
Excited
home.
to have
I'll
you
be
up
at-
here for some games.
Be at the first 2 for sure. The first 2 home games. Try to make it once a month. Gets a little hairy around Christmas to March, but
Yeah, with your work schedule in the wintertime. Also, I don't know if we want you making that drive as much in the snow. If anyone here on the show, though, you're used to driving in the snow like that,
Yeah.
you can at least count on that. We'll once we can finally sit down and compare the 2 teams' schedules, we'll figure out where we're gonna be and when we're gonna be there. I know there was some teams on the Toledo schedule that I definitely wanted to be in town for, but we will see. I'll be at the home opener most likely. That's kind of a given since it's in November.
first day in November, October
They don't-
or November 1st.
They don't play at home in October, so
No, death, taxes,
So
and we
strange.
start on the road.
Yeah, it's so strange.
That weekend's going to be brutal for me
yeah.
because ASU's in Miami the night before. They're in Miami that whole weekend, and I'm going Friday night to Miami. Like,
Yeah, I definitely want to check out some more college games this year, and maybe some more junior games as well. So being able to sit down, look at all the schedules, kind of coordinate. But the one thing I want to say is last year, like they released the schedule, they kind of did a fun little I think it was a video game style. This year, it was
Nothing
just-
this year.
Every team was just like, here you go. The NHL's teams, like they did a really good job of releasing. I saw a couple.
Detroit's was awesome.
yeah, Detroit's was
Detroit
amazing.
knocked it out of the park with theirs.
I
Nick
didn't
didn't
see
see
it.
it.
I didn't see it. I saw.
I saw the look
record.
on his face. I'm like, he didn't see this because he would know. It was so good.
I
I'll
saw
send
the
it to you,
record.
Nick.
That was it. Yeah, interesting. Okay, I'm trying to remember who's the Utah one was good, and then I feel like I sent you one, Trav, a couple weeks ago. Or I sent you one that was kind of funny, but yeah.
All right.
I wish they was a little bit more creative on that end. I mean, I'm always looking for the fun routes.
Oh, 30th anniversary patch.
Yep,
yeah.
I was going to say that is the last thing we're going to talk about before we end this. I'm going to throw this on screen for the YouTube viewers because there is a PDF version of the schedule. Travis, you just got to find it.
Bear
But you
with
see on
me.
there is the 30th anniversary patch for the Griffins. Everyone's talking season or monumental moment patches. You look at the NHL with the 100-year ones. Again, Detroit's is the best one by far out of all of them. I think that's pretty much agreement across all fan bases. How well they did with that. Toronto's is the worst by far. Griffins, though, keeping it simple. This will be a jersey patch this year, and you'll see it all over the arena, it sounds like, and on other things too. I don't know if we're going to get a special jersey with it on it. I showed Travis what the 20th anniversary one looked like, and if they do anything like that, they might as well just not make one, please, because it was horrendous. But this is what we got this year, the simple 30 with the Griffin in the center, and you got the years on it. Thoughts, opinions?
Trav.
Take off the damn sponsorship patch and put it on that side. Do not put that 30th anniversary next to the alternate letter, or I'll straight up lose it. Like, dog, I know you don't know me as well as you know the other guys. Just Just rip the patch off and put it on the other side on the chest. Don't overcrowd this for me because I'll lose it.
What if it goes
The
below
chances of the Amway sponsorship getting taken off of this jersey with who owns this team, highly unlikely. Highly unlikely, buddy. You're going to see.
Put it on the back where the Wendy's patch is on the walleye jersey.
I don't think that's going to fly either.
I don't care. If you add
here's my thought for you. You know, you keep the sponsor one, you put it over here, and you do something with the jersey on the sleeve with the C and the A, like the Winter Classic Red Wings jersey at the Big House.
Or take the shield off and it replaces the shield.
But the 30, I bet you that's what we see. You know what? You might have just nailed it. I bet you the shield comes off the shoulder of the jersey and the 30th anniversary patch goes right on there.
Because they'll still have the shield jersey, right?
No. As far as we know, I can't say no without saying, we don't know for sure. But what I was told last season, it was that they were phasing out the red and white shield jersey and going with the red reverse retro Griffin jersey with the old logo as their alternate jersey. That's what they did for remember, once that jersey came back last season, we did not see the shield hit again. We saw tons of the shields on sale at the team sale. I think that jersey might be done, which does suck. That's a fan favorite, but replacing it with that reverse retro jersey is an honorable choice. Travis, you don't need to raise your hand. This isn't gym class, bro.
I'm trying to just purely give some entertainment. That's what they should have did. They should have went with the reverse retro full time and a white version of it with the shield as the alternate. Bam.
There's many fans that would agree with you.
Problem solved.
Many fans. I don't think that's
Put me
going
in
to happen.
charge of jerseys.
God.
You'll print money.
Oh, Lord. I mean, I would love a meeting with marketing. One meeting. We would give me one meeting and an unlimited budget. We will make you guys so much money. We have so many good ideas. So no official confirmation on a jersey or anything like that yet. But what we do know is that the logo will be featured on jerseys and it'll be on center ice, which that'll look good at center ice. That will legitimately look good at center ice in the arena. I do like that. Not that our center ice logo is bad, but I think that'll look nice.
Good change of pace.
It is. It's nice to see that surrounded by a million ads because it's minor league hockey. Anyways, I think that's all we do have for this episode, though, unless you boys have one final topic to throw at me. But we're an hour and 17 into recording this. I know the final episode won't be an hour and 17, but it's 8 o'clock and I got to work tomorrow. So I'm ready for bed. I'm exhausted. My back hurts. I'm getting old. Oh, God. Anyways, time to wrap this up. Thank you all for tuning in. Sorry again for the long break. We promise we are back with tons of fun content coming up for you guys. Let us know in the comments who you potentially want to see interviewed. We'll continue to line stuff up like that through the off season as well. But if there's someone you want to hear from and how their off season's going, let us know and we'll try our best to line it up for you. Like we said, stay tuned for our next Toledo episode because it'll feature the off-season updates for the team, but also 2 interviews in one episode with some former Toledo Storm legends of the back-to-back Riley Cup championship teams. Yes, we're getting some more of those interviews out for you guys. You guys loved it so much that we did it last summer. We got some more lined up. Thanks to good old Travis working that cell phone like Elliot Friedman down in Toledo there. So appreciate you, sir. They were fun interviews. I can't wait to share them with y'all.
And
that'll be out.
We got a former walleye player lined up too.
We do. We have that coming up here as well, and a whole bunch of fun stuff. So like we said, let us know what you want to see in the comments. If there's some guys you want to hear from, we'll try our best to get it lined up. With that, we'll wrap the episode up. Thank you everyone for tuning in. As always, we got to thank our sponsor of the show, Everything Hockey Clothing Company. When you're shopping at everythinghockey.com, use code WEST to save a few bucks off your order. And of course, we got to thank the Hockey Podcast Network for being partners with us. With that, everyone, we will talk to you again when we talk Toledo. And until then, as always, go Griffins, go Walleye.
Love you. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Hockeytown West podcast. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at HockeytownWPod and your host, Nick at GR Hockey Guy and Brandon at BrandonGR Hockey.